All right, let's do some edits. When you're logged in, then you have this access. You see this second bar. This is terrific because when I click on edit with Elementor, I can go straight to the header, the footer, things like that. So that's what we want to edit because this typeface is terrible and yellow is terrible for something like this. It's fine here, but it's terrible for a rollover because then when it's clicked, when I'm on the portfolio page, it would be very difficult. Also, you would never want to use a font like this because it's supposed to be subtle and in the background, like page numbers, not something that has a lot of personality. So I'm going to go ahead and click edit. And now I'll be affecting this template, this header template that we have. Again, I've broken it into 3 columns. So I'm going to edit this one right here. There could also be global settings where you click on your default colors, and that's where I'm getting this yellow. So choosing color palettes is really important. You can discard the color palette, you can reset the color palette, and now everything's gone back to whatever it was before. So you can adjust all these things here, but you could also set it. So I'm just going to hit reset, and I'm actually going to set it here. So I'm going to click edit nav, and there's another way for you to set that inside the dash. So again, we have a horizontal thing. I don't like the typeface, so let's change that first. So I click on typography, default. I'm going to go ahead and do Montserrat. And I'm going to do all uppercase. I feel like that's probably too bold. That might be too light. All right, that's probably good. And then I'm going to go ahead and uppercase it. But now it seems a little big. So I'm going to go ahead, not that small, right? But not that big. I might also want some more space between each of these. And I can adjust. I always like my line height to at least be 1.2, just in case something gets stacked. And letter spacing has to do with like your tracking. So I'm going to track this out just a little bit so it's a little bit easier to read. Okay, so I've got that part done. I don't really mind the gray, but I don't like the hover. Hover color is this green, and I don't like that. So I'm going to go ahead and make it red. And then when I'm active, that means when I was clicked on it, then I'm happy for it to be that green. I'm going to make it a little bit darker green. Okay, and then I can add colors here. So say I wanted to add like a fuchsia, I can add it. And now I have this palette. This is the palette that it came with. I could get rid of those as well. All right, so now we have better. So this is the horizontal padding. This is the space between the words. So if I wanted it to be bigger, I could really expand it out. If I want the space between this and this to be more, I will do that in this column. I can move the column over, but it really doesn't change the distance between these two things. So what I'll do is I will add some padding to this in just a second. So vertical padding has to do with the space if you're having that line underneath. So let's go back and we're going to say that our pointer is an underline. So when I go, now you see that the underline is super, super close. So I might want to go back and have the vertical padding be a little bit more. And I'm going to go back just so we can see. And that might be a little bit better. I'm not a super fan of the green or maybe the thickness of it. There's lots of other options, right? Framed back, the background color being a, I for some reason thought I was choosing it. So, but this might be, it doesn't even feel like the same thing, but it's definitely clear where we are. This is saying that the text gets bigger, right? So there's all kinds of things that can happen when you're doing these. I'm going to do a underline, and I'm going to go back and go here. This is the pointer width, meaning that it could be really tiny, right? Let's see. I've got it super big, way too big. So it's really the weight of that line. I'm going to go to 1 and see. Okay, I like that a little bit better, but I still think I need a little bit more space underneath it. So this looks a little bit better. I don't like the color. So again, here, normal, there's nothing, right? You don't see it. But when I go to hover, I see now my pointer color. So maybe it's okay if I choose gray, then it's clear. I also think that it's kind of wide. So the horizontal padding, no, we were good there. We're going to go ahead and just make, when it's active, we'll just make it gray as well. All right, so now let's add some space between these two things. I'm going to hit Edit, Nav menu, and I'm going to go, which I already was on, I'm going to go ahead and give it a little bit of padding on the right. I'm going to uncheck this, and I'm just going to say 50. So now it has a defined space. I think that's too much. I'm going to go with 30. That is a little bit better. Clearly defines this. Now again, if I wanted to go to this button, and I don't like the button color, this is the background color. I could go ahead and make the background color that. I can make the text color white. Now when I roll over, it does change, but maybe not like what you would want. I go to hover. I can change this to maybe blue. That makes a clear change. And that's how you do it. We did add this background in this whole thing, which is under section. If I wanted that section to have, you wanted it to be some sort of weird shape under here, that you could do that. Box, if you go to border and you do box shadow, it's going to automatically put kind of this really light gray, and you can make it lighter. You could go even lighter. So I go back to the section, box shadow, it is the lighter gray. So that's terrific. You can blur it more, you can spread it, whatever. This is, I don't really want it any, you can also inset it so that it's on the inside, so it looks like it's going back in space, but I don't like that. So I'm going to go ahead and hit update. And if I wanted to, I could take this gray off now of the section. So I go to background, I can take this color and I can just go to white. Now I have a bar that's white that has that bar underneath, so it gives it some space. Hope that helps. Hey, my name's Diane Gibbs. I'm a professor of graphic design at the University of South Alabama, and I have my own podcast called Design Recharge. And this semester I'm having to teach a lot of stuff online, so I just thought I would share some of this stuff with y'all. If you could hit like and subscribe, that'd be great. There's going to be more of these coming all summer, going through Elementor. If you like Elementor, there is a free plugin. If you're ready to go Elementor Pro, I'd love for you to click on this affiliate link. It doesn't make your price any more expensive. It just gives me a little piece of the pie. So bit.ly, bit.ly/D R Elementor, and the link's down below. Thanks for watching.